KEBS Citizen Service Delivery Charter 2024-2025. Overview. KEBS is the national standards body in Kenya, established through the Standards Act Cap. 496 of the Laws of Kenya. KEBS started its operations on 12 July 1974 for standardization, consumer protection, and trade facilitation. This Citizen Service Delivery Charter is a commitment by KEBS to provide its services to its clients within the framework of its mandate and tasks stipulated by the legislation and regulations. Mandate. The functions of KEBS as mandated by the Standards Act Cap. 496 of the Laws of Kenya are to provide standardization in industry and commerce, to provide for testing and calibration facilities, to control the use of standardization mark and distinctive marks, to prepare, frame, modify or amend specifications and codes of practice, to encourage or undertake work in connection with standardization, to assist the national government, local authority, public bodies, or individual persons in the preparation and framing of any specifications or codes of practice, facilitating the implementation and practical application of standards. Vision. A global leader in standards-based solutions for trade and sustainable development. Mission. To provide standardization, metrology, and conformity assessment services that safeguard consumers and facilitate trade for a sustainable future. Core values. KEBS corporate culture is based on core values. These fundamental beliefs or principles that guide the behavior, actions, and decisions of the organization. KEBS core values are professionalism, sustainability, customer focus, patriotism, integrity, team spirit. Services offered: standards development and harmonization, product testing, calibration of equipment, market surveillance, import inspection, education and training in standardization, metrology and conformity assessment, management systems certification, product certification. Our commitment: uphold KEBS mandate as stipulated in the Standards Act, provide services efficiently and effectively, handle all our customers with dignity, courtesy, and respect, duly identify ourselves when required to in the course of our duty, continually improve our quality management systems and processes, ensure reasonable security of any equipment and samples left in our care. Our customers have a right to access services, review and appeal, lodge a complaint, privacy and confidentiality, information of services required. Customer responsibilities: understand and observe regulations, terms and conditions under which KEBS services are offered. Be courteous and respectful to KEBS staff. Promptly avail accurate information and respond honestly to queries. Promptly pay standards levy and penalties as applicable. Promptly pay for services rendered. Actively participate in technical committee meetings, activities as may be appropriate. Not offer any form of inducement with the intention of compromising any KEBS officer. Report any cases of corruption, malpractice to KEBS or any relevant authority. Be aware of the laws and regulations governing KEBS operations. KEBS implements an anti-bribery management policy accessible through the KEBS website, that is www.kebs.org/policies. Quality assurance. Service rendered. Factory inspection after application of standardization mark permit. Customer obligation. 1. Submit application through the KEBS online portal, that is kems.kebs.org. 2. Provide a copy of company registration certificate. 3. Provide KRA PIN. 4. Payment of applicable fee through eCitizen. 5. Declaration form for firms with annual turnover of less than 500,000 Kenya shillings. Timeline: 15 days. User charges as stipulated in the payment guideline available at the Standardization Mark Office or the KEBS website. Service rendered. Develop a scheme of supervision of control after initial inspection. Customer obligation. Outline the process controls, evidence of process controls, and evidence of quality records. Timeline: 5 days. User charges nil. Service rendered. Grant of standardization mark permit upon receipt of complying test reports. Customer obligation. Demonstrate conformity of the product to Kenya standards or approved specifications. 2. Submit quality control plan, product recall, and complaint handling procedure. Timeline: 5 days. User charges nil. Service rendered. Communicate outcome of application and dispatch of S-Mark permits. Customer obligation none. Timeline: 5 days. User charges nil. Service rendered. Renewal of standardization mark permit upon receipt of complying test reports. Customer obligation 1. Submit the application through the KEBS online portal, that is kems.kebs.org. 2. Payment of applicable fees through eCitizen. 3. Demonstrate conformity of the product to Kenya standards or approved specification during the permit validity period. 4. Demonstrate compliance with signed scheme of supervision and control. Timeline: 5 days. User charges are stipulated in the payment guideline available at the Standardization Mark Office or KEBS website. Service rendered. Factory inspection after application of Diamond Mark permit. Customer obligation: fill in the forms STA1, STA3, and SL1. Payment of applicable fees through eCitizen, and provide evidence of compliance of 3 consecutive product samples to Kenya standards or approved specifications. Timeline: 10 days. User charges are stipulated in the payment guideline available at the Standardization Mark Office or the KEBS website. Service rendered. Grant of Diamond Mark permit after factory assessment. Customer obligation: evidence of compliance to the Diamond Mark inspection criteria. Demonstrate compliance with the signed scheme of supervision and control. Timeline: 20 days. User charges nil. Service rendered. Renewal of Diamond Mark permit after factory assessment. Customer obligation: submit application form STA1 and STA3. Payment of applicable fees through eCitizen. Demonstrate conformity of the product to Kenya standards or approved specification during the permit validity period, and demonstrate compliance with the signed scheme of supervision and control. Timeline 20 days. User charges are stipulated in the payment guideline available in the Standardization Mark Office or the KEBS website. Service rendered: communicate outcome of the application and dispatch of Diamond Mark Permit. Customer obligation: none. Timeline 5 days. User charges: nil. Inspection. Service rendered: release of consignments accompanied with COC or COR. Customer obligation: present valid relevant import documents through the KEBS online portal, that is kims.kebs.org, for clearance purposes, and valid COC or COR for the consignment. Timeline 1 day. User charges: nil. Service rendered: release of consignments not subject to PVOC. Customer obligation: present relevant import documents including compliance documents as per Legal Notice 78 of 2020 through the KEBS online portal, that is kims.kebs.org. Timeline 1 day. User charges: nil. Pre-export and verification of conformity, PVOC. Service rendered: acknowledge and resolve PVOC complaints. Customer obligation: provide true and accurate information and provide supporting documents where applicable. Timeline 21 days. User charges: nil. Service rendered: issuance of interim ISM stickers from the date of application. Customer obligation: apply for ISM stickers through ism@kebs.org and provide the required details as per the Excel application form. Timeline 2 days. User charges: nil. Service rendered: process applications for consolidators. Customer obligation: apply for consolidator registration certificate through consolidators@kebs.org and attach the required details as per the Excel application form. Timeline 30 days from the date of application receipt. User charges: nil. Service rendered: processing of payment refunds. Customer obligation: request for refund through a letter and attach copies of documents to prove overpayment. Timeline 30 days from the date of request. User charges: nil. Testing. Service rendered: carry out testing of all samples submitted and release test certificates. Customer obligation: 1. Provide adequate samples. 2. Give clear samples description. 3. Specify clearly the relevant test required. 4. Confirm the relevant product standard as applicable for the samples provided. 5. Provide an additional technical requirement the laboratory needs to fulfill. 6. Payment of applicable testing fees through eCitizen. 7. Provide correct and current contact details, i.e. telephone, email, etc. 8. Sign the sample submission form, SSF. Timeline 13 days, except for products whose actual test period is more than 13 days. User charges as per applicable testing fees. Service rendered: respond to request for queries. Customer obligation, make a request through a letter, telephone, email, that is info@kebs.org, or physically. Timeline, 2 days. User charges, nil. Service rendered, commence site testing. Customer obligation, 1. Make request through a letter, telephone, email, that is info@kebs.org, or physically. 2. Payment of applicable fees. 3. Provide necessary resources where applicable. Timeline, 5 days. User charges as per applicable fees. Metrology. Service rendered, calibration of equipment and issuance of certificates or reports. Customer obligation, deliver equipment to KEBS, collect calibrated equipment and certificates or reports from KEBS, and pay applicable fee or formal commitment order through eCitizen, and provide required equipment manuals and accessories. Timeline, 14 days. User charges as per applicable fee. Service rendered, response to on-site calibration of equipment. Customer obligation, make request through telephone, email, that is info.metrology@kebs.org, or physically. Pay applicable fees through eCitizen, provide necessary resources, and avail equipment and manuals. Timeline, 14 days. User charges as per applicable fees. Service rendered, respond to request for quotations, that is RFQs. Customer obligation, request for a quotation through a letter, telephone, email, that is info.metrology@kebs.org, or physically. Timeline, 2 days. User charges, nil. National Quality Institute, NQI. Service rendered, acknowledge requests for training, membership, and extension service. Customer obligation, make a request through email, that is nqimembership@kebs.org. Timeline, 2 days. User charges, nil. Service rendered, confirmation of scheduled training. Customer obligation, committal documents, that is letter, contract or LSO, remittance advice, and payments. Timeline, at least 5 working days before training. User charges, applicable fees. Service rendered, issue certificate after completion of training, conference, and extension service. Customer obligation, pay applicable fees through eCitizen. Timeline, 14 days. User charges, applicable fee. Service rendered, issue certificate after completion of membership evaluation. Customer obligation, pay applicable fee through eCitizen. Timeline, 14 days. User charges, applicable fee. Service rendered, issue invoice after completion of training, conference, and extension service. Customer obligation, submit commitment documents, remittance advice, and payments. Timelines, 7 days. User charges, nil. Certification body. Service rendered, acknowledge application for certification. Customer obligation, apply for certification through ims.kebs.org. Timeline, 3 days. User charges, pay application fees of 10,000 Kenya shillings. Service rendered, schedule audits. Customer obligation, pay applicable agreed fees through eCitizen. Timeline, 10 days. User charges as you mutually agreed. Service rendered, preparation of certification proposal. Customer obligation, review contract and TOR documents by CB. Timeline, 5 days. User charges, nil. Service rendered, preparation of certification contract. Customer obligation, review contract and sign. Timeline, 3 days from the day of decision. User charges included in certification fee. Service rendered, issue of certification documents. Customer obligation, return signed contract. Timeline, 7 days from the date of return by customer. User charges, nil. Service rendered, acknowledge appeal on certification decision. Customer obligation, appeal against certification decision. Timeline, 3 days. User charges, nil. Standards development and trade. Service rendered, standards development through technical committee process. Customer obligation, request for standards through kims.kebs.org/request standards. Timeline, 15 months maximum. User charges, nil. Service rendered, review of Kenya standards. Customer obligation, give feedback when review questionnaire is sent out. Timeline, 30 days. User charges, nil. Service rendered, acquiring of standards. Customer obligation, request for standards through webstore.kebs.org and pay applicable fees through eCitizen. Timeline, 2 days. User charges, applicable price. Market surveillance. Service rendered, acknowledge consumer complaints. Customer obligation, report or submit the complaint to KEBS primarily through the KEBS Integrated Management System, KEMS, that is kims.kebs.org, or either alternative through letter, telephone, Twitter, email, or physically. Timeline, 2 days. User charges, nil. Service rendered, address consumer complaints by carrying out investigations. Customer obligation, 1. Report or submit the complaint to KEBS primarily through the KEBS Integrated Information Management Systems, KIMS, or kims.kebs.org, or in the alternative through letter, telephone, Twitter, email, or physically. 2. Provide accurate and relevant information. And 3. Provide relevant documents relating to the product complained about, e.g. purchase receipts. Timeline, 28 days. User charges, nil. Service rendered, give feedback to complainant upon completion of the investigations. Customer obligation, provide reliable contacts through which feedback can be given, preferably email address, postal address, telephone number, etc. If complaint is not of the type where complainant opts to remain anonymous. 5 days. User charges nil.